Hi everyone, welcome back to Data Monarch channel. I'm Mary, and in today's video, I'll be showing you how to create a fully automated health metrics calculator form in Excel that calculates your BMI, blood pressure category, and body fat percentage, and even tells you if you are healthy, overweight, or at risk, all automatically. Let's get started. This is our input section, and you want to input the name, the age, the gender, the systolic, the diastolic, the blood pressure category. These are measurements for blood pressure. I want to add BB at the front so that whosoever is seeing this will understand. And here, this is our blood pressure measurement. Here we have the height, we have the weight, the body mass index, and the body mass index category. Also at this side, we have the body fat percentage. So let's start formatting. First off, we want to merge your title. You can even move it right here. Yes, let's do for all this. Then you merge here under alignment. You can see merge and center. So you merge and centralize it. Once you've done that, you want to also change the font size, or before you change the font size, you want to change the fill yellow. Okay, I think I prefer this. Then you can leave the color as black, the font color as black, and you also want to bolden it using your Ctrl B. Increase the size, middle align. Yes, once you are done with this title, you want to proceed down to the body of the form. You want to format the input cells so it looks different from the question, and to format it, you can highlight it and let's select a color here. Let's select a lighter shade of this color. Then you do the same for this, also the same for this. Right, we have one left and this. You can also see, guys, that our values look clumsy for long text, so you want to expand the text. You want to make sure everything is looking as neat as possible. Add borders to the input cells, and to do that, click on one of the cells, and here under the border you can see different options, but we want only the outside borders. Now can you see what that means? So you also want to do the same for the rest by clicking on this. There is still one thing we did not add here, which is the summary. Next one, I will also be using data validation. Under gender, we have either male or female. Click on the cell and come here under data. You can see data tools here. Here you can see data validation. Click on the data validation and you can see any value. No, we want it to be list of value. Input male and female. Then press your OK. Now you can see that you either have male or female. The next thing to do is to add formulas to calculate the body mass index, the blood pressure category, and the body fat percentage. First one we'll be working on is the body mass. The formula for body mass is weight over square of height. Press your equal to. Ensure that in every function you are doing, you put an equal to sign. The weight, use your division sign, then open bracket, the height square, close your bracket. We are getting this error because these spaces are empty. In order to avoid this type of error, we use the if error function. And to use the if error function, just come here before your formula, write if error, open bracket, this is our real value. Then we want to write the value that if there's an error, return this. We want it to return a blank space, then just return this blank space and then close it, enter. The next one we are going to do right now is the BMI category. This BMI category is us wanting Excel to tell us if our BMI value signifies that the individual is healthy, underweight, overweight, or obese. Press equal to. This is our body mass index value. Use the if function. If open brackets, you click on this cell is less than 18.5, comma, return underweight. Ensure to always put text in strings so that you don't get an error, because we are writing more than two options. Then you use the if function again. If this is less than 25, it belongs to the healthy category. If open bracket, the BMI value is less than 30, then such individual is overweight. If every of this logic is found to be false, we want it to give a response of obese. So that means that such individual has a body mass index that is greater than 30. You want to ensure that you also close your parentheses with the same number, enter. You can see that we are having obese even without pressing any value under the height and weight, and that is because we did not specify if there was a blank space. We'll only say that if those measures were not met, then it should return obese as a response for us. This is how you solve this, guys. In the beginning of your work, you want to input blank spaces. If open brackets here is blank, use two apostrophes to signify that, then we want it to return a blank space. Now remember that we've added one more open parenthesis. We want to add the fourth one and press your enter. Before we proceed to the blood pressure category, we want to assign colors so as to make our form look much more beautiful. Click on the BMI category cell under the Home tab menu, and under Conditional Formatting, click on it. Click on the new rule. We want to use a formula to determine which cells to format. Then you click on this. Press your equal to. If this cell is underweight, we want the field to be yellow. Do that for LD, for overweight. So you click the same thing. Proceed to the blood pressure category. The American Heart Association standard for blood pressure categories, two values are involved. We have the systolic and the diastolic. We're using both the if function and the and function because variables are very important in our conclusion. Equal to, if open bracket, then use your and function, open the bracket, systolic is less than 120, separate it by a comma, and the diastolic is less than 80. Close the bracket for the and, comma, return a normal category, comma, for the second category. If the systolic is greater than 120, or if the systolic is less than 129, diastolic is less than 80. Close the bracket. We want this to give an elevated response, comma, for the stage 1 hypertension. So if open bracket, and first metric for stage 1 hypertension is if the systolic is greater than 130 or the systolic is less than 139. Now is when we'll be using the or function. The diastolic for stage 1 hypertension is between 80 to 89. Return a stage 1 cancer. Close this apostrophe. For the stage 2 hypertension, we'll be using only the or function. If an individual has a systolic that is greater than 140 or a diastolic that is greater than 90, that means they are experiencing stage 2 hypertension. If any of these that we've imputed here is not valid, we want it to be that such an individual should check the readings again. Close the parenthesis, enter. The same way we are having an error here, we want to put a function that says that if the space is blank, click on one of the cells here. If it is empty, we want it to return an empty space for us. Then you add one more parenthesis, you opened a parenthesis and press your enter. So that is solved, guys. Before we move to the body fat category, we also want to add conditional formatting to our blood pressure category. To do that, ensure you are clicking on the blood pressure category cell, and here under conditional formatting, we are using a new rule. You want to ensure that your letters are just the same when you wrote them here. want to include for check readings, that should also bring a red format because we don't want it to look, just blank. The next one is the body fat percentage. Those are formula bar. There are constant values that will be used in this calculation. You have 1.2 multiplied by, use your multiplication sign, by the body mass index, close the bracket, plus open bracket 0. It's very good to always put your different calculations in parentheses so that you don't encounter any error or miscalculation. 0.23 multiplied by the age, close bracket, use the subtraction sign, open bracket, 10.8 multiplied by gender. Now guys, you know that body fat percentage is based on gender. Male is represented as 1 and a female is represented as 0. But remember that we input our data validation here as male and female, not in a value. So you want to open a bracket that says that if, open your bracket, this equals to male, and if not, it should return 0. Close your parentheses. Subtracted by 5.4. Press enter. This is giving us an error because most of our values here are empty. So we want it to be that if, and we are inputting all the values we are using, the gender, the age, the gender, close the bracket, are empty. Give us the empty response. Close your parentheses. If error, because this is giving us an error because not everything is complete, return a blank space, then close the parenthesis and press your enter. You want whoever is having access to this calculator to be able to see if their body fat percentage means they are healthy, if their body fat percentage is low, or if it's high. Or let's write BSP category. That's a short form for body fat percentage. Replicate this cell, so you just copy and paste it here. I did not want to copy this because it has a formula in it, so I prefer to just copy an empty cell that has no formula in it. Body fat percentage is calculated differently for a male or female. So equal to, we are using the if function. If, open bracket, if the gender here is a male, comma, then you want to write your other functions for the values. Then if the body fat percentage is less than 8, to return the low category. If, open bracket, the body fat is less than 20, LD body fat for the male. If, open bracket, if any of these functions is not fulfilled, we want it to return high. So we don't need to rewrite gender equals to female because we already stated it in our if function that if the gender is a male, then we want to return this. Then you want to close your parenthesis. If this logical test is not true, if it's a female, then we want it to return if the body percentage is less than 21, then for the female it is low. If the body percentage is less than 33, LD. If any of this is not fulfilled, it means it is high. Please, if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. So we want to close all the hypotheses. You can see it still give us the high, the same way you want to write that if the body fat percentage is empty, then it should give us we want to also assign conditional formatting to it. Before we move on, let's input some data into our calculator to be sure that everything is functioning well. we have some errors here, and the errors are not that much. Ensure you do this before you proceed and go on to automation. Right here, you can see that even though we do not have the diastolic value, Excel is still calculating the blood pressure category. And here, we don't have the gender value, and Excel is still calculating the body fat. No, we don't want something like that. So how do we solve this? To solve this, we want to tell Excel that if any of these two is blank, then we want it to also give us a blank result. Click on one of the cells. Here we only wrote that if the systolic is empty, then it should return blank, but if it is not, it should return this, which is why we have that value. This is the or function, or open bracket. Now you can see that this is rightly correct. Let me also delete this and only write for this. You can see that we will have a blank space. Also, we want to do the same for the body fat percentage. Instead of using and, use or. Enter. Now we are good to go to the summary. We'll be using both text and numbers. Under the summary cell, you press your equal to, your BMI is, then open a parenthesis where you write your function, then you use and is to tell Excel that every of this word that we are writing are going to be in just one cell. So you use the and, then we use the round function. We want to round the BMI value to one decimal place. So you open the bracket and you click on the BMI value. You also close it with an and function. You want to return the BMI category. You also open a parenthesis, press your and, then you click on the BMI category. You put another and you close the apostrophe. So once you are done, you want to close the parenthesis and put your comma. BP is, click on the BP, which is this. You add the and you close the parenthesis. Then you put your comma and your body fat percentage and apostrophe. We are using the and, don't forget the and we're also using the round because we want to round the figure of this to one number digit. Close it, add a percentage to it and a full stop, then close the apostrophe just like you opened it up here and press your enter. We are getting an error as a response because right now the metrics are not present. So remember what I told you guys, if you don't want this error to keep showing, just say that if error, you want it to give you a blank space. Close your bracket and press enter. That is it. Or the summary can just be that not available. We want to make this look more beautiful by removing the grid lines, and to do that, click on one of the cells and under the view you can uncheck the grid line, you can uncheck the headings. If you don't want it to be present, you can leave it there, and if you want to also uncheck the formula bar, you can do the same. Just remove everything you think you do not need, and this is still not looking good, so you want to add a border to this. Be adding an outside border. You can also want to change the color of that. This is looking quite clumsy, so you can insert a cell above here, and here you can see that it's using the same formatting as the one we have here, but we don't want that. So you can see this drop down and clear formatting. You want to change this to an outer border so that everything will be well aligned, and you can also do different styles with the border. And yes, now we have exactly what we want. Once you've done this, you want to rename the sheet. This is very, very important. This will be the form, then a new sheet where the responses will be made available, and also create another sheet here, name it rows. I will explain the reason for this later in the video. To proceed, we'll be needing the developers tab. You can see that I have it here, but in case you don't have it, you can just click on this ribbon, right click on it and click on customize the ribbon. Here under this main tab menu, check the developers tab. Guys, the next thing to do is that we want to create a list of every of these variables here under here, and also link the input cells to it. So I will explain to you why we need to do this. It is very important to do this in our automation process, and you even see it for yourself and understand why. Guys, if you want to broaden this, link each of the input cells to this equal to, then you just link it. That is how you do it. Now guys, we are moving on to the automation process. Copy all of this, use your Ctrl C and come here under the responses and paste. Well, you don't want to paste it directly, you want to paste it in a special way. So right click and click on your paste special. Here, paste it as values and also transposes, then press your OK. It's looking quite clumsy, so come here under cells. You can see the format button, click on the drop down and click on auto fit column width. This is looking good. Also, you want to adjust this heading to look interesting because this is your summary data, right? Yes. Also guys, I feel there are spaces here, so I want to do it in a way that everything will start from here. So I'll just Ctrl Z everything and then paste special. Again, click on values and transpose and press your OK. This is me wanting a very neat job done. Yes, you want to click on format and auto fit column. Yes, then you also want to adjust this header by changing the colors, the fill. Let's use the same one as we used, and also you can bolden it if you want to change this to white, but I think it's better we just leave it as a dark color as it also does the job well for us. So once you've done this, now you've defined the response data. Now go back to the form sheet and you want to input this data. Let me use my name. I'm a female, and yes, let's say this is 119 and the systolic is 70. Yes, so after that, my height, yes, let's say 1.2 meters because this is a meter. Let me also add it to this, and also my weight, which is this, and you can see every of this is well calculated. And now you can see that this is extended, so you want to extend this. Go under the developers tab, click on the record macro because we want to record this sequence to name it calculator form. Click on separate it with an underscore, click on OK, copy the input cells and come here under the rows, paste it special. So you click on paste special, you paste it as values and also transpose it, then place your OK, copy it and then come under the response. You don't just paste it directly that way. You want to come back to the home tab menu. You can see under the cells, you can see the insert format here. You click on it and you want to insert it as a copied cell. This is very important as you don't want Excel to keep erasing the previous individual details that are there. You want it to keep pushing it down, so you click on shift cells down and you press your OK. Once you've done that, you want to come back here and delete all of these input details. You want to ensure that you don't delete the ones that have functions in them. Don't delete the ones that have functions, you only delete the ones that you input. Don't make that error. And once this is done, click on the first cell here and come back under the developers tab, click on stop recording. There are two ways to create the submit button. You can see that I've inserted two rows here. You can just click on this row and then click on insert so that our form will look much more bigger. Is either you come under the developers tab, here under the insert you can see the automated one here, but I do not like to use this because this will not allow me to format the color, the shape, the size and all. The best way I do is just come back here under the insert tab menu and you can see under the illustration, click on shapes. I want a rectangle rounded corners, click on it. You can use any one of your choice just to suit your taste, and once I have it, I want to change the fill color to the same as this. Then also you want to write submit. Format this text, you want to come back under home and also you can change it to black, bolden it. You can increase the font size to make it much more obvious for whoever is doing this, and you want to centralize it using the center align. And once you've done this, you have it. You can also move this to any place of your choice. You can reduce it or increase it depending on anyone you want. Guys, just use your way around this. I can do different things, but this is a long tutorial and I don't want to spend so much time doing things that are not quite important. Right click on this submit button, assign macro, click on it, and then remember the name of the sequence we just created. We saved it as calculator form. Click on it, ensure that you click on what you just recorded and press your OK. So once you've done this, we want to check check, is this really working? And to do that, input a new details. I don't know what your name is, for our input, let's say the height is 2.2, the weight is 122. Yes, so after you've done this, you want to click on submit. Now we want to check if this actually works. So you come here under the response and you can see that this actually worked, guys. Back to our form sheet. You don't want all this to be obvious. Change the text color to be the same as the surrounding cells, which is white. Also hide these rows by right clicking on it and click on hide, so nobody knows that such a sheet exists, even though it's very, very important in our automation process. So now this is looking so neat. Now to protect this sheet, press down your control key and you click on the ones you want your audience to be able to format by themselves. Yes, once you click on this, you come here under the format and you can see lock cell, so click on the lock cell. Under the review tab menu, click on protect sheet. Input a password you remember, press OK. We enter the password. Let's try and write some details. Let's see, can I access this? No. Now this will make nobody to be able to interfere with whatsoever formulas you've written. Then click on submit. So whatsoever, they just input the needed details they need to do, and under the responses, you as the owner of this sheet can see every of their details here. If you want to protect the workbook, you click on protect workbook, you write a password, and you also do the same thing. So it depends on anything you want to do, guys. Now that we've done all of this, there is a specific way to save macro enabled files or sheets in Excel. And how do you do that? You come here under the file tab menu and you can see save as. Yes, any name of your choice, and you under the save as type, you want to save it as a Excel macro enabled workbook. So you click on that and you press your save. So now even if you come back to this sheet or if you send it to anyone, they can easily open it up and just input their details. Thank you for watching, guys. I know this was a long tutorial, but I believe it was really worth it. Thank you so much for watching to the end.